Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, like a light bulb. And if you ever saw him, you would even say it glows like a light bulb.
Shut up!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back from your short break, and boy, do I have some news for you. I mean, look at this. My script is 2 pages long. This week, I'll be covering the aftermath of Thanksgiving 2013 as long as the usual, so buckle up your seatbelts. It's time to rock and roll. I'm Howard with Mustang Update, and this is your News of the Week. Icelandic police have set a new milestone by killing a person for the very first time, neutralizing an armed and dangerous 59-year-old shotgun-wielding man inside his apartment, who wounded 2 officers in the process. Of course, in true European form, counseling and therapy is on hand for the officers involved. While 40 incidents of police killing innocent civilians just happened in the United States since the start of this broadcast, and none of those officers will be facing jail time. Meanwhile, Pope Francis released the Evangelii Gaudium, a 50,000-word statement calling for church reform and the removal of elements of modern capitalism in order to protect the poor. Not surprisingly enough, talk show host Rush Limbaugh has decided to instead put Francis on full blast, claiming that the Pope was speaking of purely Marxist and communist ideals, a ridiculous accusation. On the other hand, I do feel sorry for Rush. I mean, if I was worth some $370 million like him, I probably wouldn't want any of those disgusting poor people touching my money either. Pet food company Nature's Recipe has launched a new promotion that allows your pet to share photos on Instagram. With a camera attached to their collars, your pets can now show the internet the exciting lives of dogs and cats, including eating, sleeping, and meeting other animals. Unfortunately, that camera doesn't let your pet take selfies, so you're still going to have to take care of that the old-fashioned way. State Representative Tom Brower of Hawaii has recently come under fire for going on camera to remove the trash on the streets, namely by waking up homeless people and telling them to get moving. Additionally, Brower also wields a sledgehammer that he uses to destroy these people's property, all while wearing an Armani hat. It's alright though, because these people are clearly homeless and can be denied the right to own property anyways. Meanwhile, a family in Butte, Montana has recently been charged with a number of crimes in... Hey, what's this? Whoa, it's breaking news. That's right, it's the News of the Week breaking news story. News events that were completely new and surprising to our writing team when this script was written. Vice President Joe Biden was forced to borrow a massive amount of money in order to pay for his own bills. In a move that shocked people across the world, the man claimed that he had no choice but to borrow money from the American public in order to pay for his own meals, causing a massive outcry in the political community. On the flip side, he's already on track to repay all 10 of the dollars that he borrowed, unlike any of the other debts in the United States today. Well, that's it for now. I'm Howard with... Oh, hold on. Oh, that's right, I still gotta do your Thanksgiving news. Sorry about that. Well, first off, here's an update on Walmart's Thanksgiving food drive. The company has assured the public that all employees that worked on Thursday last week would be treated to a turkey dinner as well as an additional day's worth of pay. In other words, Walmart has been so kind and so generous to give their wage slaves some cold turkey and an additional 80 cents for spending time away from their families and friends in one of the biggest American holidays of the year. Good on you, Walmart. In other related news, Butterball has recently announced that there is currently a shortage of fresh turkey across the nation. I wonder why that could possibly be the case. And finally, record numbers of campers have been lining up at Best Buys and Walmarts across the country 2 weeks ago for yet another disappointing Black Friday experience. Despite all consumer optimism, customers who spent over a week waiting in line were only treated to outdated electronics at mediocre discounts. Speaking of Black Friday, I do have some great news. Only one of your fellow men were killed on Black Friday, one of the lowest Black Friday death tallies in history. I would deploy the confetti here, but the show's already over budget, and we can't really afford any more. Of course, about 15 people were also injured, so there's that. But hey, only one guy died, so you could save a few bucks on that already overpriced iMac. Alright, I'm done here. This has been Howard with Mustang Update, and this has been your news of the last 2 weeks.
Hi there, have you ever seen any Mustang update?
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Yes, I have.
Yes. See.
Do you know what to do if you miss any of a Mustang update episodes?
No, we don't know what to do.
What?
No, where?
Nah.
That's cool. Yay.
Will do.
For real?
You got it on YouTube?
He was the first black president of South Africa. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be taking a look at the life and accomplishments of Nelson Mandela. Born July 18, 1918, in a South African village, Nelson Mandela was first in his family to attend school. A talented student who showed rebellious tendencies early on, he was expelled from university for his involvement in a boycott against the institution. It was expected Mandela would become chief of his tribe like his father, but instead he chose to study law.
It is absolutely important that you have the knowledge to serve your country and your people.
By 1944, Mandela joined the African National Congress, or ANC. This left-wing political party wished to give equal rights and freedoms to the entire country. Within the party, Mandela was part of a group that formed the ANC Youth League, and this offshoot used grassroots methods to get their point across, including boycotts, strikes, and general civil disobedience.
That the task of the ANC was to unite the African people and out of them build a nation.
In 1948, the National Party was elected to government, and following that, it instituted a legal system of racial segregation called apartheid. Meanwhile, Mandela and the ANCYL continued their non-violent protests against racist policies. For example, Mandela was instrumental in 1952's Defiance Campaign, as well as 1955's Congress of the People. He also served as a lawyer for mistreated black South Africans by opening the country's first black law practice. Mandela was quickly becoming an enemy of the government, and he was targeted whenever possible. At the end of 1956, Mandela and a group of about 150 protesters were arrested on the suspicion of treason because of their advocacy. After a long trial, the group was acquitted. It was around this time that a group of militant Africans began suggesting that the peaceful approach was not working. This group formed the Pan-Africanist Congress in 1959. Soon after, Mandela changed his position and proposed that armed conflict was the only way to end apartheid rule.
It is useless and futile for us to continue talking peace and non-violence against a government whose reply is only savage attacks.
He helped found a military offshoot of the ANC called Umkhonto we Sizwe, and this group specialized in sabotage and guerrilla warfare. Not long after, on August 5, 1962, Mandela was arrested for a strike he had organized the previous year. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison, however, he ended up spending his next 27 years in jail. While serving his 5-year sentence, Mandela was also charged with sabotage, treason, and violent conspiracy during the infamous Rivonia trial. He was sentenced to life in prison and barely escaped the death penalty. Mandela's first years were spent in a prison on Robben Island, but he was transferred in 1982. He was treated poorly as a black prisoner, however, he did manage to earn a Bachelor of Laws degree through a correspondence program. During this time, Mandela's profile grew, and he became an international symbol of anti-apartheid resistance. On more than one occasion, the government offered Mandela his freedom in exchange for the abandonment of his beliefs. Each time, he refused. After much negotiation, Mandela was finally released on February 11, 1990, at the age of 72 by the country's new president.
I wish to put it plainly that the government has taken a firm decision to release Mr. Mandela unconditionally.
Mandela then became president of the African National Congress and helped negotiate the end of apartheid laws. On June 17, 1991, the Population Registration Act was repealed, which meant that racial groups were no longer legally separated. This marked the beginning of the end of apartheid rule in South Africa. The country held its first democratic elections on April 27, 1994, with the ANC taking 62% of the vote. On May 10, 1994, Nelson Mandela was sworn in as the first black president of South Africa. He spent his term rebuilding the economy and uniting the country. He even used the country's national rugby team as a rallying point for all citizens and as a way to bring the country onto the world stage in a positive light. When his term ended in 1999, Mandela retired from active politics. Despite leaving public life in 2004, Mandela convened a group of world leaders called the Elders in 2007. With figures like Desmond Tutu, Jimmy Carter, and Kofi Annan, the group aimed to resolve world problems like poverty, AIDS, and climate change. Among his many honors, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. Even after leaving public life, Nelson Mandela is one man who continued his lifelong crusade for a better world.
You fought for my rights, Madiba, Madiba. Some days went so wrong, some days went so bad, but Mandela stood for me, oh, Madiba. People crying for freedom, blaming day and night, and Mandela, you took a step, Madiba, my hero.